to councillors, members of the public and staff present in person, joining online and watching online this evening. The time being 6:31 p.m, I declare the ordinary council meeting of the 26th of August 2025 open. This meeting will be conducted under the provisions of the Local Government Act 1993 and Council's adopted Code of Meeting Practice. Specifically, persons in the gallery are advised that they may not record the proceedings of a meeting of council or committee without the authority of the council or committee. Mobile phones must be turned to silent so as not to disrupt the meeting. Using mobile phones to record the meeting, whether audio or visual, is not permitted. This meeting is live streamed and a recording will be made available on Council's website to allow the community to follow Council debates and decisions. Members of the public attending or speaking at a meeting agree to have their image, voice and personal information, including name and address, recorded and publicly broadcast. Strathfield Council does not accept liability for any defamatory remarks or inappropriate comments that are made during the course of a meeting. Any part of the meeting that is held in closed session will not be streamed. The mayoral diary from July and August 2025 and expenses claimed by all councillors has been tabled for your information as per Resolution 14719. Councillors, I would remind you of your obligation to faithfully and impartially carry out the functions, powers, authorities and discretions vested under the Local Government Act 1993 or any other act to the best of your ability and judgment, and as Chair will call you to order should there be need to do so. Moment of reflection. I would now like to ask everyone who is able to stand for the moment of reflection. We pray that our deliberations today will be objective and decisions impartial and made for the benefit of the whole community. Let us begin by acknowledging the Wongal people, the traditional custodians of the land on which this meeting is being held. We pay respect to elders past, present and emerging. Thank you. You may now all resume your seats. There are no apologies for this evening, but there is a request for a leave of absence from Councillor Pensabene for the ordinary meeting of the 26th of August this month. Can I have a mover of that leave of absence? Councillor Reddy. Is there a seconder? Councillor Blackmore. I put the motion to a vote. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Disclosures of interest. Does any councillor wish to make any disclosure of interest? I request that each councillor with a conflict stand, clearly state the item, the nature of the conflict and what action they will take. Councillors, in reading out your conflict, please follow the templates as provided. Councillor Nosworthy.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. My conflict is with EO1 sports ground maintenance costs. It is a non-pecuniary, non-significant interest. It is based on the fact that my employer uses a number of parks in the local area. And as a result, I will remain in the room.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Blackmore.
With non-pecuniary, non-significant for EO1, sports grounds. My daughter plays for a local sporting club. This doesn't impact my functions as a councillor, so I'll be staying in the room for the vote.
Thank you, Councillor. Deputy Mayor.
Okay, I got one with 10.3, the Diabetic Forum. As a Lions Club member and also chair for the District Wellbeing Committee of Lions Club.
Pecuniary?
Yeah, it is non-pecuniary and non-significant. So I will move up.
You'll stay or you'll leave?
I will leave. All
right.
Okay.
It's non-pecuniary, Councillor. You can stay in the room.
No.
Significant. You can leave. All right. Thank you, Councillor. All right. Councillors, does anyone have any acknowledgements that they wish to bring before the meeting? Councillor Reddy.
I have two. My first one is regarding Korean Society of Sydney. I would like to congratulate outgoing President Esther Kim for her hard work and dedication in securing the $2 million from state government for the upgrade of Korean Community Center. I would also like to acknowledge and congratulate the newly elected President and Vice President, President Jubilee Hyun and Vice President Wee Ron Lee. I would be submitting the actual spellings to them for the minutes. Apologies for the pronunciation. And my second acknowledgement is regarding the Janani Radio Sydney. They have organized a Ashtavidhanam. It is a Telugu literature competition where the author is given questions and scenarios where he is meant to compose poetry on the spot. For this gathering, I was invited as a chief guest, and at the end of the function, they ended up composing 34 new poetries.
Thank you, Councillor, for acknowledgements.
And they have promised to send a copy of the printed poetry to us.
Councillor Nosworthy.
Two, Mr. Mayor. The first one, I'd like to acknowledge the work of our Council's Chief Financial Officer in preparing clear information for our community regarding the 2025-26 rate changes. I'd like to give a little bit of background as well. This came about, I asked him, I think, early August. I kind of did some calculations. Just asked him to check over it, and obviously then there was discussions about can we release those, and he's obviously also uploaded a calculator on top of that. The reason I did that is, unfortunately, there were mistakes. There's been a lot of conversation in social media. Make sure everyone's paying attention.
Continue, Councillor.
There was mistakes made on social media. There was kind of an unclear part of the newsletter about ad valorem rates being reduced and they would continue in the new system. And then it got a bit worse when it was said that only people seeing an increase this year would be those on the minimum rate. Now, unfortunately, these examples show that the ad valorem rate has gone up 26% in this example on a property on $3 million. So unfortunately, Mr. Mayor, you have made some errors in public statements, so now we can all refer them to the calculator and make sure we don't mislead them on how much the rates have gone up and the obvious lack of rates being frozen, as was promised in the 2024 election.
Finish, Councillor.
I have a separate one.
Second. Go.
Second acknowledgement. I'd like to acknowledge this lovely piece of media that I saw in a recycling bin on the way to work this morning. I feel like, unfortunately, it's not a great use of council money. You yourself wrote in October in your very first mayoral minute, you asked for a report into feasibility in expenditure reduction measures. This would seem an unnecessary expenditure. The ratepayers are paying for being told the same thing that was in the newsletter. I see that two of the points are almost identical, that 80% of the ratepayers are on the minimum rate, and something vague about the ad valorem, because obviously you don't want to state they're going up 26%. It was a very expensive way of telling the community that you didn't freeze the rates and that you broke your election promise, and I'm not sure it's the best use of our council's money. Also, I take issue with point number 5. Businesses in Strathfield, the industrial zone, will offset some of the costs to a rate increase, bringing them into line with other inner suburban industrial areas. 80% of our business north ratepayers could cross the road and get a 30% discount. So I don't think it's quite accurate to say we're bringing them into line when they're paying 30% more than the Parramatta region. And in business south, they could get a 20% discount if they moved into Canterbury-Bankstown. So bringing them into line by 30% and 20% above our neighbours seems like an inaccurate statement.
Thank you, Councillor. Any other further acknowledgements, councillors?
Yes.
Mr. Deputy Mayor.
Firstly, I'd like to congratulations to the Strathfield Strikers FC for being crowned the 2025 Bill Blackenbury Cup champions. The Premier Men's competition within the Football Canterbury Association in a thrilling grand final on Saturday night. Strathfield FC defeated Hurston Park Wanderers 2-0, showing skill, teamwork, and determination at the highest level. Special recognition to Michael Medgolier, who was awarded the prestigious John Watkins Medal as the best player of the grand final. An incredible personal achievement that adds even more pride to our community. And the celebration don't stop there. Our all-age men's Sunday team also trumped in the grand final, defeating Cooks River Titans 6-1. Another outstanding result that reflects the strength and the spirit across all levels of Strathfield FC. For juniors to seniors, from individuals to teams, Strathfield football continues to inspire. We are proud of every player, coach, and supporters who contributed to this success. That's the first one. The second one, a heartfelt thanks to the Strathfield Library team for their strong support in hosting anti-racism and community safety forum at the Iron Park Conference Room. We are also deeply grateful to our distinguished guest speakers. Firstly is Detective Chief Inspector Alison Fenwick from Avon Police Area Command for sharing professional insights on safety and law enforcement. And Mr. Fei Wang, a senior lawyer, for his valuable legal guidance to help protect community rights. And also Mr. Da Haiyu, writer and community representative, for his thoughtful reflections on harmony and understanding in our diverse community. Today, with the support of our community, we are working towards building a safer, more inclusive Strathfield for all. Lastly, at the same time, I would also like to acknowledge the hardworking team behind the Hudson Park Tunnel project, which has beautifully connected to the east and the west sides of the park. This improvement not only enhances accessibility, but also makes Hudson Park an even more welcoming and enjoyable space for everyone. Together, through that, I think that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Any further acknowledgements, councillors? No? Okay, I have a number. The first acknowledgement from myself is the 104th birthday of Anne Burton. On August the 11th, I was privileged to attend as Mayor the 104th birthday of Anne Burton, organised by the Probus Club of Homebush. As long-term local residents, Anne and her daughter Trudy have been friends of my family for many years, and it was a great joy to join them on this milestone with the Probus Club. We wish Anne and the extended Burton family the best, and we hope to join her for the very special 105th next August. The next is for the Strathfield Massacre service we held a few weeks ago. I acknowledge the 34th anniversary ceremony of the Strathfield Massacre, which was held at the Strathfield Square on August 14th. The Cumberland RSL sub-branch aided the council in facilitating a solemn service, remembering those who were killed, injured, and those emergency service people who were called to act. We were joined by community representatives, Burwood and Auburn police commands, and notably someone who many of us know, Mr. George Reed, Star of Courage, who was shot on the day when aiding others to escape. We remember those who were killed. My next acknowledgement is for Indian Independence Day and Korean National Liberation Day, which were both held on the 15th of August. We celebrated on that day both Indian Independence Day and Korea's National Liberation Day at Strathfield Council. We began the day with an official flag-raising ceremony of the Indian flag just outside Council, which flew alongside the Australian flag for 1 week. The ceremony was well attended by many members of the local Indian community, with words of pride shared by the president of SAISH, the Strathfield Australian Indians of Subcontinental Heritage. Later that day, at Davies Square, a flag-raising ceremony was conducted for the Korean Republic Day. I would like to acknowledge Mr. Nadeem Ahmed for inviting me to join his organisation, Indians in Sydney, for their annual dinner event celebrating Indian Independence Day. The event was attended by hundreds of people from across Sydney and included keynote addresses from the New South Wales Premier and Opposition Leader. My next acknowledgement is for the Strathfield School for Seniors. On Friday, August the 1st, I attended the weekly gathering of Strathfield School for Seniors. It was a great joy to meet with them and understand the community they have built around weekly craft, board games, card games, sewing and knitting, computer lessons, and high-quality art classes. I commend their commitment to social well-being in our community. The next acknowledgement is for the Australian Catholic University's exhibition titled The Local at the McGlade Art Gallery. On August the 7th, I was invited by the Australian Catholic University to judge artwork in their student exhibition titled The Local, with the new award this year named the Mayor's Choice Award. This year, the show included dozens of ACU's current visual art and design students in their exhibition, a current staff member, and recent ACU Strathfield graduates. There were many magnificent artworks ranging from pencil portraits to oil canvas paintings and digital representations. We thank ACU for their ongoing commitment to local arts and their showcasing of local talent through the McGlade Art Gallery. The centenary of St Martha's Catholic Primary School. On July 29th, Councillor Kim and I attended a special Mass at St Martha's Catholic Church to celebrate 100 years of St Martha's Catholic Primary School. Bishop Terence Brady celebrated a whole school Mass with many parishioners, parents, pupils, members of the community, and a number of previous principals. This was particularly meaningful to me, as St Martha's is not only where I was baptised myself and received my sacraments, but has also served as my family's parish for almost 40 years. In fact, my parents were married at St Martha's Catholic Church. At this occasion, the Dominican sisters, who were the original custodians of the school, planted a new orange tree in the schoolyard with a seed from a tree at Santa Sabina College, Strathfield, which in turn was planted over 100 years ago from a seed that originated from the world's oldest orange tree, which was planted by St Dominic in the year 1220. So we wish the entire St Martha's community a congratulations on this milestone, the best wishes for their new orange tree, and a special congratulations to parish priest Father John Hayes and the Dominican sisters. And finally, the Kokoda Trail Memorial Walkway that marked the 80th anniversary of Victory in the Pacific. A few weeks ago, our community came together at the Kokoda Trail Memorial Walkway to mark the 80th anniversary of Victory in the Pacific, the moment of Japan's surrender, which brought an end to the Second World War. Excuse me. It was a service of deep dignity and gratitude, honouring the extraordinary sacrifice of Australians who fought across the Pacific and, in doing so, secured our nation's freedom and the security of future generations. Her Excellency Governor Margaret Beazley delivered an important address at this ceremony. Standing in that place of memory, we were reminded that Australia's character was forged not only in peace, but in the courage and resilience of those who carried our nation through its darkest hours. Their spirit of mateship and unwavering determination is a legacy we inherit and must preserve. As we reflect, let us recommit ourselves to ensuring that their victory, 80 years on, and the values for which they fought, continue to guide our nation's path. Thank you, councillors. The confirmation of the minutes. Can I have a mover? Councillor Reddy. Is there a seconder? Councillor Nosworthy. Councillors, does anyone wish to speak for or against the motion? No, that being the case, we'll put the motion to the vote. All those in favour? Carried. Councillors, unanimously, thank you. Suspension of standing orders. Councillors, because there are a number of speakers on matters relating to the mayoral minutes, which are generally done before the public forum, we will suspend standing orders to move public forum to be done now, and then we will have mayoral minutes after the fact. I will move that the suspension of standing orders takes place. Is there a seconder? Councillor Reddy. All those for the motion? Carried unanimously. Thank you, councillors. Public forum. We have 4 speakers registered today to address this meeting. Speakers are reminded that they have 3 minutes to address council on their item of interest, with a possible extension if approved by the meeting. Speakers are advised that in accordance with the Code of Meeting Practice, they cannot ask questions of council, councillors or staff. A councillor through the chair may ask questions of the speaker as long as it is direct, succinct and without argument. The first speaker tonight is Ms. Bainey, speaking on behalf of St Patrick's College, addressing the meeting to discuss a right-of-way at Edgar Street as a result of an escalation of safety concerns at this location. Ms. Bainey, when you're ready, please.
Mayor, Deputy Mayor and Councillors, General Manager, my name is Natalie Bainey. I'm the Chair of the Risk and Governance Committee at St Patrick's College. I'm also a lawyer, a parent at St Patrick's, and a more than 4-decade resident of Strathfield, with most of those years being spent on Barker Road, opposite the college, and therefore a neighbour to a lot of the people in the vicinity of the college. I've also held executive level responsibility for child safeguarding with both the AFL and a rugby union in New South Wales. I received a letter from the PNF president, the Parents and Friends president at St Patrick's College, Eleanor Iardo, and that body represents over 2,500 parents and carers in the college community. And the letter, which was addressing specifically the right-of-way, made a number of points. It pointed out that child safety is very much at the forefront of our community's concerns, and that Australia has a heightened sensitivity to this issue at present. It mentioned that Strathfield Council does have a part to play in ensuring safety for the school, and that the easement allows unvetted access or members of the public to come in and interact with minors. And importantly, that in 2025, this is unacceptable. Now, it's easy to picture the students of St Patrick's College as tall, strong young men, like our incoming leaders, but I am going to urge you to consider our littlest students, and we have one here this evening. These are the people that you see around the school and around Strathfield with their shorts and their long socks and their little blue caps. And I'm asking you to consider them as you contemplate your position on this issue. We have strangers approach them. We find unidentified adults in their toilet blocks. We've had strangers watch them get changed for different classes. And our head of, the director of the senior school, who's also a dual role as a caretaker, has as recently as last week found unidentified people on the campus. And this is an ongoing and frequent problem. I don't believe that anybody on this council considers this acceptable. And yet it is the council's right-of-way that is exposing them to this risk. The right-of-way, which has closed a portion of Edgar Street to vehicles, came into place in 2004. Of the existing property owners from that time, 6 remain on Merley Road, along with 1 from the southern end of Fraser Street, 1 from Edgar Street, and none from the southern end of Francis Street. Every other resident in the area has never known that portion of Edgar Street to be anything other than part of the college. So if council is seeking to balance community interests, contrast those 8 remaining property owners with the 512 parents and carers from St Pat's who currently reside in Strathfield LGA. These are your constituents in Strathfield, Strathfield South, Homebush and Homebush West, and parts of Belfield and Greenacre, who have placed their trust in one or more of you to help safeguard their children. Now, I question the reasonableness of a resident's
I'll just jump in. Okay, we'll just extend the time for a few minutes. All those in favour?
Oh, thank you.
Carried, please.
But I do question the reasonableness of a resident's assumption that they can walk through a school. In fact, in 2025, we all need to question the motivation of somebody who wants to walk through a school. Society expects that forums such as this will question why somebody wants to do that and stop them. That's the role of child safeguarding. And the college does have a proposed solution. There has been a recent valuation of the property for a purchase price of $300,000. This is based on parameters that the land is valued as what it would be to any prospective purchaser that is unable to be developed and of absolutely no utility to anyone other than the college. So I urge you to consider that valuation and bear in mind that St Patrick's College is not a luxurious independent college. It's one of the most financially accessible colleges in Sydney, independent schools in Sydney, and it keeps students' needs at the core of its financial model and nothing more. We would like to see the college pay that sum of $300,000 and arrange for access fobs to be given to those long-standing residents, provided they apply on an annual basis, and that is grandfathered out as the existing owners and tenants of those properties move, and that the access is only outside of school hours, because after all, we can't assume that these people have a working with children check. Now, this is a safety measure that we feel that both the college and the council needs to not only consider but should not accept anything less than this. And if there is, God forbid, a more serious incident that takes place with an intruder, the college's record on this matter will speak for itself. But I'm also a resident of Strathfield LGA, and I actually don't want to see this council held responsible for that either. So I therefore urge you to resolve this issue and close this security gap in a reasonable manner as a matter of priority. And I know that the 2,500 parents from our college community and the 512 from this LGA in particular await your response. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much for speaking to us on that matter. We'll move to the next speaker tonight, which is Miss Grace Christofuli, the business owner of El Taurus Hair and Beauty Salon.
Sorry. Okay. Good evening, Honourable Mayor, Deputy Mayor, Councillors, General Manager and all here tonight. My name is Grace Christofuli. I'm the owner-manager of El Taurus Hair and Beauty Salon at 266 Homebush Road, Strathfield South. My family, staff and I are excited to announce that this year our salon is celebrating 50 years in business. Wow. Where have the years gone? We've seen a lot of changes in our area, in our municipality and in our area. My parents, Aldo and Enza Christofuli, established the family business in 1975. My father, a barber hairdresser, and my mother, a beautician. On this special day, my family, staff and I want to honour them and thank our customers past, present and future for their years of loyalty. We have always been a family and community-focused business. This is possibly the reason we have lasted the test of time and why we would appreciate your presence on behalf of Strathfield Council to help us celebrate this milestone. I would like to conclude by personally giving you an official invitation and hope to see you on Saturday, 11th of October. Thank you, Mayor, Deputy Mayor, Councillors and General Manager for allowing me to speak tonight and all here tonight. You're all welcome.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Christofuli. I'm sure everyone who's available will attend.
Thank you.
Thanks to all those who are leaving us at the moment. Our next speaker this evening is Mr. Benjamin Frasco, speaking on behalf of Street Level Australia relating to the Merrill Minute in support of the Strathfield-led pattern book. Are you ready?
Well, Deputy Mayor, Councillors, General Counsel, everybody here tonight, thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name is Ben Frasco, Policy Lead at Street Level Australia, a non-profit dedicated to ensuring planning serves communities. My academic and professional background is also in planning. I come to speak tonight in relation to Mayoral Minute number 3, the proposal to create a Strathfield pattern book. Let me begin by commending the Mayor for putting forward such an innovative idea and the councillors for the courage to start a new conversation in planning. It is easy to keep doing things as they have always been done, but it takes real leadership to chart a new path. Planning today too often reduces to KPIs and targets, but our history shows something better. Workers' cottages, civic buildings, and even the convict quarters in Hyde Park all were designed with dignity and proportion. Somewhere along the way, those principles were set aside. We also know from decades of research that the public prefers traditional human-scaled design. If our system is to be guided by the people, then it is government's job to listen. People want streets and homes that are coherent, legible, and beautiful. And they are the ones who live with the results long after housing targets are met. That is why opposition to housing is so often not about the numbers, but about ugliness. A brutalist box will always invite resistance from the general public, but the same density in a form that people love, that is welcomed. Beauty is the antidote to NIMBYism. And that is why a Strathfield pattern book matters. The state pattern books were a missed opportunity. They carried no real incentive for uptake, and they didn't respond to a local context. By testing designs with community and by rewarding developers who adopt beautiful designs with streamlined approvals, councils can deliver more homes faster while lifting the character of your community. And to make this truly work, council should consider provisions that allow modest increases to height or floor space ratio for projects that adopt local pattern book designs. That's the kind of incentive that will drive uptake, boost supply, and ensure quality development. Street level, and I personally believe that planning must be done with communities and not to communities. A Strathfield pattern book offers the right balance: faster housing supply, higher quality, and genuine community support. I commend the Mayor's vision, and I urge the councillors to support it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Frasco, for speaking on that. We'll vote on that matter immediately after this. Next, we have, in relation to the Gapyong flooding in July of this year, Mr. William Sung, Speaker on behalf of the Korean Society of Sydney, Australia.
Well, good evening. Thank you very much for inviting me. The Honourable Mayor and Vice Mayor and councillors and everyone gathered here today. I stand before you today to speak on behalf of our long-standing sister city, Gapyeong-gun in South Korea. The Gapyeong region has recently been hit by severe floods due to record-breaking rainfall. Home and public facilities have been destroyed, and countless residents have been left displaced. Their lives in turmoil. The news of this tragedy has left us all with heavy heart. The relationship between the Gapyeong-gun and our city, Strathfield, is more than a simple administrative one. It is a bond first in history. Gapyeong is where, over 70 years ago, brave Australian soldiers fought with valor for freedom and peace in the Battle of Gapyeong. Their sacrifice and dedication laid the foundation for the special friendship we share today. We are, in essence, brothers, but bound by history. It would be unconscionable to turn away when our brother is in need. I believe that by joining forces, our council and our citizens can help the people of Gapyeong rise from this despair. This is the true meaning of a sister cities relationship. Therefore, I am here to strongly request that the Strathfield City Council take the lead in launching a fundraising campaign for Gapyeong's flood relief. Our leadership and support are urgently needed. I am confident that if we take the initiative, not only the residents of Strathfield, but our entire community will join in this act of compassion. Furthermore, I am pleased to announce that the Australian Federation of Korean Communities is ready to join these efforts. If the city of Strathfield leads this campaign, the Federation will rally Korean community across Australia, especially those with Korean War memorials, to participate in the fundraising. These unified efforts will amplify our impact and provide even greater support to the people of Gapyeong. Please, I urge you to make a decision that demonstrates the value of our empathy and the friendship during this tragic time. Let us extend the hand of hope to the people of Gapyeong. Let us pool our strength to help them recover and return to their daily lives as quickly as possible. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you very much, Mr. Song. That matter will be dealt with in the first mayoral minute of this meeting. Councillors, I'll now move that we resume standing orders and move to the mayoral minutes. Is there a seconder? Councillor Nosworthy, I put the motion to the vote. All those in favour? All those in favour? Carry... Okay, unanimously. At the same time. I can't do it otherwise. The first mayoral minute relating to what was just spoken on is the mayoral minute 7.1. I move that council resolve to commence a public donation appeal to raise funds for the Gapyeong County, Republic of Korea, in the Republic of Korea and our sister city, which would meet requirements of the Charitable Fundraising Act 1991 and the Local Government Act 1993 by resolving the following. A, to establish a public donation appeal to raise funds for the Gapyeong County flood recovery effort, such appeal to be open until the 13th of September 2025. To create a dedicated cost centre to receive and manage all donations for this purpose. Delegate to the General Manager the development and implementation of appropriate financial controls, record keeping and reporting processes in accordance with the Charitable Fundraising Act 1991 and the Local Government Act 1993. To establish a dedicated donations page and prominent link on Council's website, along with promotion via Council's social media channels, media release and other appropriate communication methods. And finally, to provide 28 days notice of Council's intention to resolve to donate the funds raised above to Gapyeong County. As was mentioned in Mr. Song's address, Gapyeong recently endured a devastating natural disaster. We acknowledged this at the meeting of July 22, where severe flooding triggered by an intense monsoon affected, I believe, 40,000 people in their homes, many displaced, some lost their lives, and as a sister city, I implore all councillors to support this effort. I would note that this Mayoral Minute doesn't seek to provide any financial compensation ourselves, other than the cost of administering the funds, but rather creates a platform, an official platform through which Australian Koreans and the broader community can make donations to our sister city. Councillors, does anyone wish to speak for or against the motion? Councillor Blackmore.
Yeah. Look, it's thank you for the Mayoral Minute, Mr. Mayor. I just think 13th of September is probably, it doesn't seem like a lot of time. We're pretty much the end of August. Would you be open to amending that and extending the date, say to the end of September?
That date was, I set that date on the advice of staff, so I'll just ask through the General Manager if there's a reason we've left it for such a close date.
Yeah, through you, Mr. Mayor. So the reason for the date is primarily to allow us to come back to the September council meeting for council to resolve to formally contribute those funds that are collected, and that's something that we're required to do under the Fundraising Act and the Local Government Act. So if we did push it out to the end of September, we would just have to wait until we had the next council meeting to be able to formalise that actual donation to Gapyeong.
Just through the General Manager, considering an urgent motion that will be at the end of this meeting, would pushing it back 7 days be appropriate?
That'd be fine.
Yeah, all right. I'm happy to amend the minute. Councillor Nosworthy, a seconder. Do you accept 7 days to the 20th? That can be reflected in the minutes. Other councillors wishing to speak for or against? Councillor Nosworthy.
Yeah, just in case that's not enough time, we could do it as an extraordinary meeting, if, it falls after the next meeting. Again, time is of the essence here, so maybe 20th is fine, but just a thought.
My view would be we can cross that bridge if need be. We can have an extraordinary meeting to extend it, etc. We'll move to a vote. Councillors, all those in favour? Unanimous. Thank you, councillors. Moving to the second Mayoral Minute, 7.2, I move that Council requests a detailed report to be prepared for Council identifying instances of cost shifting imposed on Council by state or federal governments over the past 3 financial years, the financial impact of these measures on Council's budget and service delivery, cases where federal or state agencies have withdrawn or reduced funding resulting in Council being required to assume responsibility, examples where compliance obligations have significantly increased costs without associated funding support. The report should also outline where state and federal engagement should be improved, including areas where cost shifting must be firmly rejected, opportunities for joint advocacy with peak bodies such as LG New South Wales and the AGLA, and a framework for proactively reporting cost-shifting examples as case studies to strengthen the Council's advocacy to ministers, MPs and relevant parliamentary committees. And finally, that Council formally advocate to the New South Wales and Commonwealth governments that cost-shifting is an unsustainable practice and that any new responsibilities imposed on local governments must be accompanied by secure and ongoing funding. The rationale is noted. Councillors, does anyone wish to speak for or against the motion? No, put the motion to a vote. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Mayoral Minute 7.3. I move that councillors be provided with a report back which considers how to progress the following. First, the development of a Strathfield pattern book of housing designs that incorporate traditional and compatible architectural styles reflective of Strathfield's character. 2, undertaking an open design competition inviting architects, designers, and the community to submit full architectural concepts for inclusion in the pattern book, with final selections determined by councillors. 3, integration of the pattern book into council's planning framework by identifying and recommending appropriate amendments to the DCP to provide a recognised and streamlined pathway for approval of pattern book designs. Consideration of any necessary amendments to the local to the LEP to ensure zoning, height and density controls can reasonably accommodate the selected designs. Reviewing any further regulatory or policy adjustments required to ensure the pattern book has statutory effect while respecting existing planning controls and community expectations. 4, an outline of the implementation framework for the points listed above, with this to include, but not be limited to, clear criteria for selecting designs that align with Strathfield's heritage, character, and sustainability objectives, including characteristics from Strathfield's 15 residential heritage conservation areas. Competition guidelines and the judging process, a strategy to promote uptake of the pattern book within the building and development community, opportunities to seek state recognition of the Strathfield pattern book as a valid local alternative to the state standardised system, development of a project plan for this initiative, identify financial resources required to facilitate this process for inclusion in the draft 6-7 budget, how this initiative will ensure that council-led planning and assessment processes become the preferred option for our local community when building family homes across the LGA. Now, as we heard from our speaker, and something I'll echo relating to the state planning pattern book, is that it's my strong view that it's incongruent with the heritage of our community. And this motion seeks to radically alter the perception of the community that the state is the preferred pathway for building, and that CDC, the pattern book, and all these new state mechanisms that create rapid construction are the better approach for developers and builders to take. Rather, we're seeking to create a system that is not about necessarily speed, whilst hopefully accomplishing that also, but to be the preference of the builders and developers. Our goal is to be favourable in outcomes. So, as was mentioned by the speaker, we want to have a situation whereby we are providing not only a similarly rapid system, but also a system that is generous in what residents want. And we all know the classic Strathfield homes have large underground basements, none of which are accommodated in the pattern book. We know that Strathfield homes often break the rules on what is actually allowed in Strathfield today, but follow historic obligations to large homes and fanciful designs. But nonetheless, the point here is that we are seeking to create a situation whereby we as councillors can determine what the look and feel of this community is in 100 years' time, and we want to deter people from using the horrid state-led mechanisms. We all know what state-led development does to our community. For example, how many people in this room have had communications from those living at 81-6 Corrali? I know Councillor Nosworthy is very active on their WeChat page, often for the wrong reasons. But nonetheless, we are seeking to create a situation whereby 81-6 Corrali never happens again, because we will be involved in the development of the future look and feel of this community. you've all read my rationale in the papers. Does any councillor wish to speak for or against the motion? Councillor Nosworthy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think it's a good idea and I'm happy to support it. My only concern, and it's going to come to a report and we can have this discussion at the time, is in terms of scale and speed, in terms of, we are quite a small council, so developers looking at, trying to do things in a relatively efficient manner, may be slowed down by having to attend to a small area of Sydney's pattern book. But hopefully we can work through those kind of problems and have a good result.
Councillor, any other councillors wishing to speak for or against? No, put the motion to a vote. All those in favour? Carry unanimously. Thank you, councillors. Good. All right, we'll move to the matrix. We'll begin with 10.4. Sorry, no, 10.
I don't have the voting matrix.
I might have a spare. I think there's one in my...
We just always get one, is that something we can request?
Thank you. 10.1.
Sorry, 10.1.
10.1 out.
There we go.
Thank you. 10.2. Out. 10.3. Out. 10.4. 10.5. 10.6. 10.7 out, 10.8 out, 10.9 out, 10.10
Out.
out,
Yeah.
10.11
Out, please, Mr. Mayor.
out,
Yeah.
10.12,
Out.
10.13, LC1 is our first LC, by the way. Very good.
New era.
LC1, LC2 has to come out. No, I'm pulling it out. No, it has to come out. It has to come out. Yeah. LC3, LC4, LC5.
Out.
LC6, CCS1, CCS2, CCS3, CCS4, P1, P2,
Out.
P3,
Out.
EO1, EO2 has to come out. 12.1, 12.2,
Out, please.
EO3. Sorry, hang on.
That's it.
Oh, I don't have a third name. No.
Confidential out.
EO3. EO3?
Out.
Out, okay. Doesn't have to come out, just...
Yeah, I just assumed it did.
Okay. Very good.
Thank you for
Oh, right, good.
We were trying to pass it on, but we thought you were smart enough to know everything.
Let's not talk about notes.
All right, councillors, we will move on to the motions. All right, we will begin with 10.1. Sorry, bear with me. Sorry? Oh, sorry, no, we have to bear with me. Sorry, I'm a mess.
Oh, yeah, good point.
Okay, it's not here for me, that's all right. Councillors, we will deal with these motions, by exception, as stated. The motions as stated will be dealt with by exception. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Sorry, that's true. I move them. Councillor Reddy seconds them. All those in favour? Carried. Sorry, that was just. All right. 10.1. Myself and Councillor Kim have co-sponsored this motion. I don't believe that we need a seconder. The Deputy Mayor seconds. I'd like to speak for the motion. Essentially, in 10.1, what we're looking at is the master planning of that precinct at Powell's Creek. Essentially, the current site is to be master planned in next year's budget, so 26/7, and the idea of this motion is to ensure that when master planned, certain considerations are noted. The first is that is a very optimal location for council to have activity because and take seriously that precinct because of the Todd. That will be one of the most highly dense portions of Sydney, let alone in our own little pocket of Sydney, when the Todd is developed. And so rather than waiting for the Todd to be developed in 600 years' time, we'd like to get ahead of the ball and ensure that the building does what we want to develop with that land occurs now, rather than being reactive. And so in the notice of motion, Councillor Kim and I have highlighted a number of things we'd like to see go into that space when the master plan is being done in next year's financial year. Those things include facility for events in the community, a community hub, potential space for indoor sports. Councillor Nosworthy, I'm sure, will support this because of his motion around indoor activities. An art gallery or museum, exhibition space, just like we have at Strathfield Library, spaces for theatre performances take place, as I said, sports and whatnot, and recreation, plenty of other things, childcare, etc. It will be a large facility for our community to gather and meet in, potentially food spaces as well. And one thing of particular note, which is why this is being co-sponsored by myself and the outgoing president of the Korean Society, Councillor Kim, is because we would also like to have a look when the master planning is being done at creating a space for the Korean community to lease from Strathfield Council. They are long-term tenants of a slowly decaying facility with Canterbury Bankstown Council, not far from here. We would like them to move into our municipality by providing a modern, fresh space when their lease does end in almost a decade time. So we're seeking to attract them to this part of Strathfield. Councillors, would anyone else like to speak for or against the motion? Councillor Nosworthy.
Yeah, just number 8 under the dot points. I'm just slightly concerned about the intention maybe of providing Melville Hall in the interim, just in terms of obviously it's booked for other things. So I guess I have questions around how often does the society need it? How does that fit in with current bookings? Obviously we don't want to displace our current users, even though we do have a positive relationship with our Korean community. So I guess the question through the chair to Councillor Kim is what are the timings of the Korean Society's usage, so we can try and fit that in with other users of the hall currently.
Councillor Kim.
When do they use the hall? When do they need to use it?
Through the chair, through the mayor, our community used the current center hall. So all time we're using our senior groups coming, and every day, almost every day, different groups come. They have singing, dancing, learning, so many the well-being, for their well-being and the mental and physical health. It is used by. Also, this hall is used by other communities around that Croydon and the Kempsey area. They use for funeral, they use for wedding, and their birthday party, so many things they use it. And now if we borrowed from, if we have opportunity to borrow from Stratford Council, the Mary Center, maybe the same pattern, we will do that. So we will share with all other communities whenever they need it, because we're not using, if I say some empty, because usually the parties coming on night, not using on the daytime. So daytime we use it, at nighttime, and also weekend. We have no senior groups or our community uses weekend, but all other communities, they do the wedding and all the funeral things, birthday party things, nighttime or weekend. So we can share all the halls with other communities. Is that okay?
Yeah. Councillor Blackmore, actually, before you speak, Councillor Blackmore, just to echo what Councillor Kim, my understanding is that the arrangement with Canterbury Bankstown Council is that the current usage is not exclusive. Many other as you mentioned, many other organisations use it.
Exclusive user.
But it is leased out to other groups use it.
Yes, we do. Yes.
Councillor Blackmore.
That was actually my question, Mr. Mayor. My understanding of the current use of the hall over at Canterbury Bankstown Council is that Korean Society has exclusive use of the building, and then they actually sublease and charge people to use the council's facility. I think this is very, very prescriptive, that we're saying that we're going to definitely give one building to one group, and it reeks of, a lot of you weren't around at that time, but, we had a Bressington Park issue in the past in this council, and it sort of reeks of Bressington Park 2.0. If this motion was less prescriptive, that it's specifically to Korean group, that we offer in the interim, are we offering them, they're giving to them for $1, are we giving to them for the proper rate, are we kicking all the other tenants out of our other building? There's not enough detail on here, and it's very, very prescriptive. Mr. Mayor, I'm not opposed to a group having use of the hall or the Korean community having some sort of significant footprint in our area, but this particular motion is extremely prescriptive to get a specific outcome for a particular group of people, so I will not be supporting it.
Thank you, Councillor. If I could just quickly speak to the point. Two things. Firstly, although prescriptive in its intention, the practical nature of the arrangement is not being prescribed. There is no mention of what the usage would be, whether it would be exclusive or not, and absolutely is not my intention sponsoring this. Secondary to that, it's also not prescriptive as to what the time frame would be. I mean, there could be a situation in which our facility that is being master planned next year is complete by the time the Korean Society's lease in Bankstown finishes in almost 10 years' time. So this is a gesture of goodwill, as stated, that we will come to an arrangement when the time comes, and I hope that the council at that time makes the right decision for the community, in line with the concerns of Councillor Blackmore. Councillor Kim.
It's called on you, you go.
No, through Mayor, I think the Mayor has explained already the basic, and as you know, we are now $2 million grant to refurbish all this building, and
I don't know. I don't know anything about this.
Yeah, okay. You don't know that? Oh, sorry. And then Canterbury Bankstown Council consider our community very important because it's already $2 million we're going to spend for next 4 years. And then our current contract is until 8 years left. So after that 8 years, whether we can continue with them. So there are so many changes, potential changes in there. So we cannot now decide all the precise or details of contract. This is just a good intention of whether we have any opportunity to come out, then they will offer us at the time, by the time we can discuss all the details. So the Blackmore councillor, can you understand what I...
Oh, I understand what you're trying to do. Yeah.
So I hope you can support
I
it,
understand that.
okay? Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I do believe that...
Councillor Blackmore.
Yes.
You may speak.
Thank you. I do believe that point 7 should say operational models for the possibility of offering the Korean Australian community usage rights, and point 8 should say the possibility of offering in the interim use of Melville Hall. if you would accept
I
that.
accept the amendments. Does
an
the
amendment?
co-sponsor accept the amendments? It's a slight semantic adjustment. And the seconder, Councillor Reddy? Yep. Happy for the proposed amendments to be accepted. Sounds good. Councillors, we'll move to the vote on the motion. All those in favour? Councillors Nosworthy, Kim, Reddy, Kai and Bellardi. Against? The amender, Councillor Blackmore.
I voted for it because he amended it.
Very good. Councillors, will move to 10.2. Okay, next one. It's going to be 9. All right, very good. Heritage Beautification Grant. Councillor Blackmore, you have proposed this motion. Is there a seconder?
Thank you, Councillor Kim. Thank you. Basically, I move the report be prepared for the November Ordinary Council meeting for Stratford Council to consider the feasibility of establishing a Heritage Beautification Grant. We did have something similar to this in the past, many years ago. The report to include, and it is just a report, but not limited to, the types of work that can be grant funded, if it would be fully funded or like-for-like funding, identify a simplified process for owners to lodge applications, and identify any internal potential cost savings that could offset the cost of this grant. Too many times, councillors, we are seeing the intentional dilapidation of heritage properties. There are some properties that I'll be clear that I think, and I know we are doing a lot of work in that space with the heritage properties. There's probably some that probably shouldn't be on the list. There's probably some that should be on the list, but that's another matter. I think that it is an expensive cost for these people to actually maintain these properties. Redmire Road many years ago, there's a lot of properties actually got some really nice upgrades, just minimal beautification works, which actually you can see now the street is actually quite a good example of the old heritage properties in our area. So yeah, there is an extra cost, and there is basically, I feel that there are some people who say, well, that costs a lot of money, I'll let this property dilapidate, and then I'll either demolish or demolition by derelict. So I think it is council's responsibility to protect our heritage, and if there is a small sort of program which actually gives an incentive for people to look after their properties that are heritage or conservation, I think it actually is something that will benefit the community for the long term.
Thank you, Councillor. I'll ask a question of the Councillor. Councillor Blackmore, I've been made aware of, over years, some examples of heritage restoration that have been either in the hundreds of thousands of dollars, and in some cases in the millions. The probably contemporary example of that is the old Department of Education site that's been purchased on Albert Road. There's millions of dollars going into a complete restoration of that into a home, its original purpose, I think an Arnott home originally. And so in those cases where people are buying heritage properties and spending potentially millions, if not at the very least tens or hundreds of thousands, A, what contribution could council make and how much would a grant be? And B, what impact could potentially a small amount make to significant costs?
I think the intention of this grant isn't for the multi-millionaire developers who are buying up our heritage properties in Stratford Council. The intention of it is probably for Mr. and Mrs. Smith, the old pensioner, who have an issue in their property and they want to do tuck pointing on the front of the property, and they want to do some sort of work which protects the property, and there's some sort of restriction to their being able to fund it. I think someone who buys something for $8 million or whatever it is and has a project that's I think over $5 million to redevelop, they have an intention to do those works. They can afford to do those works. So.
Can I ask a question?
Councillor Kim?
So, Councillor Blackmore, if you think a grant, so such a lot of money they are spending, so how much grant do you expect most?
This is the way I operate as a councillor. I don't be prescriptive in my emotions. What I do is actually allow the council to go and do their job, the council staff, and they can come back and recommend something. They might come back and say that we can only give $1,000. I don't know. that's not our job to tell the staff what to do or for the staff to do their research. They'll probably look at I assume they'll look at other councils that offer these programs and see what sort of offer they can do to help people.
So,
Councillor Kim?
my opinion is the heritage, keep heritages and making a beautiful heritages. Because as you said, it's a lot of money. And they might be rich people. Or it doesn't matter whether rich or not rich. So you think it is just $1,000 is just boosting or encourage their intention, just show your intention to encourage them? Is that the grant meaning?
It's not necessarily about the actual grant. It's more about actually setting up a program that our residents will actually have a bit of pride in their heritage properties, rather than thinking how much is this land worth and how can I make this property derelict so that I can demolish it and redevelop it. It's about creating a bit of pride in our heritage properties.
All right, we'll just move to the vote, councillor. All those in favour? We'll just move to the vote, councillors. All those in favour? Councillor Bellardi and Blackmore. All those against? Councillors Nosworthy, Kim, Kai and Reddy. The motion falls. The next is 10.3, Diabetic Forum. Councillor Blackmore, you move the... I'll just... Councillor Kai will step aside. All right, councillors, now that the Deputy Mayor's vacated his seat, we will consider 10.3, the Diabetic Forum. Councillor Blackmore, you've moved this motion. Is there a seconder? I'll second the motion. Councillors, does anyone wish to speak for or against the motion? I will speak, actually, first to an amendment to the motion, which is that, and the amendment is the following, that Strathfield Council notes and supports this important community activity and the vital role the Lions Club is playing in drawing attention to community health and well-being. 2, that Strathfield Council encourages the Lion Club to apply for a grant through the Council's Small Grants Program in support of this event. And 3, the Council notes when the Rotary Club's room hire fee was waived, it was because the Council was a co-host of the Strathfield Youth Achievement Awards. That's all.
Question?
Just to the amendment, Councillor.
I can't accept it.
Okay.
Question?
Councillor Kim.
How much, through Mayor, how much is the cost of a whole hire?
Through the General Manager, I would ask. But on this particular occasion, I believe there's a discounted rate, but I'll...
Through you, Mr. Mayor, we'd have to take that one on notice.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. Now, I will move my motion as a foreshadowed motion.
How much you don't know?
The foreshadowed motion is the one that was read out. Does anyone else wish to speak for or against the motion? No, we'll go to a vote. All those in...
We'll vote on the foreshadowed motion?
Foreshadow?
No, we'll vote on the motion. And if the motion falls, we go to a foreshadowed motion. Councillors, all those in favour? Councillors Nosworthy and Blackmore. All those against? Councillors Bellardi, Kim and Reddy. The motion falls. We'll go to the foreshadowed motion. Does anyone wish to speak for or against it? No, we'll move to the vote. All those in favour of the foreshadowed motion, Councillors Bellardi, Reddy and Kim. All those against, Councillor Nosworthy and Blackmore. The motion carries. Thank you, councillors. We'll move to...
Okay. Liberal Lions Club?
We'll move to 10 point...
Lions Club, huh?
Yeah.
10.7. 10.7, Councillor Nosworthy, you've moved this motion. Is there a seconder? Is there a seconder? Motion falls. We'll move to motion 10.8. Councillor Nosworthy, you've moved this motion. Is there a seconder?
Tough crowd.
The motion falls. Councillor Nosworthy will move to 10.9. You've moved this motion. Is there a seconder? Councillor Blackmore. Any councillors who wish to speak for or against the motion? Councillor Nosworthy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Obviously in the winter months, it gets quite dark quite early. People coming home from work still want to get some exercise. We do have a pretty good bike path, or shared path, I should say, along Powers Creek, but it does kind of come to an abrupt end. And then on the other side of the road, Humbush Bay Drive, I believe it is, there is more lovely lit shared pathways. So I'm envisaging just kind of joining those together, making a nice long, up to like 10k round trip from Parramatta Road in Homebush all the way through Olympic Park and back again, to encourage exercise and encourage positive living for our residents.
Can I question?
Kim?
Through the Mayor, Councillor Lord Wesley, this is very good idea, I think, but at night time, how many bike users travel to long way?
Go there and count.
No.
Question's been asked. Councillor
Yeah,
Nosworthy.
so obviously it's not a huge number, probably because it is a limited distance. I would estimate, I've observed maybe between 10 and 20 on a given Wednesday night, but it obviously depends on weather and those kind of things, so.
How much will it
Councillor?
cost?
That's what the report's for.
Yeah, the report.
To whom are you asking a question, Councillor?
You got to ask the question through the chair.
Through the chair, Mayor, how much it will cost, you think?
I don't have that expertise. Hopefully that'll be detailed in the report, and then we can make a decision once we know the costing.
For the GM?
Would you like to ask a question, Councillor?
Yeah. How much will it cost?
Sorry, Councillor, would you like to ask a question?
Councillor Blackmore has asked through the chair.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I think we'll have to take the question on notice and come back to the council.
It might be too expensive, that's better to know.
I'll speak.
We've finished speakers for and against, Councillor. I'll go in favour, Councillor, or against? Are you speaking in favour?
I'll speak in favour of it.
All right.
It's not just about the bike riders lighting up this path. I think it's about providing important safety for our residents and having those lit up bike paths where people will walk as well. We need to make sure we have our safety for our residents who are walking there.
Thank you, Councillor. We'll move to the vote, Councillors. All those in favour of the motion? Councillors Nosworthy, Blackmore, Bellardi, carried unanimously. Thanks, Councillors. Councillor Blackmore, that's your first warning, please. Point of order.
For what?
Speaking while the Mayor is speaking, Councillor, that's your point of order. Councillor Nosworthy, would you like one as well?
Mr. Mayor.
Councillor Blackmore?
I believe I didn't speak, Mr. Mayor. I believe I stood up, but didn't speak when you were speaking. I just stood up at the end.
No, it was after that I'm giving you the point of order for. When I was moving on and you began whispering to the councillor to your left. We will now move to 10.10. Councillor Chai, you have moved this motion.
Yes.
I'll second it. Would you like to speak for your motion?
Yes. As a servicing council, I think well-being is so important for our council. We are doing here, for our council's well-beings. It's not just for running or exercise or support. We also have to care for those mental issues, the person with mental issues, or alcoholic person, and many other things. We got to look after them. So, well-being is so important. We shouldn't have no well-being in our council. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Would anyone else like to speak for or against the motion? Councillor
I
Blackmore.
have a question, Mr. Mayor. Just through the chair, can I just get a bit of a briefing? Sorry, I didn't have time before the meeting to ask. So, just as to why that committee was discontinued, and if it was actually officially discontinued by resolution.
Through Ms. Mayor, Councillor Blackmore, I can come back to you on the timing, but some time ago there was a resolution to discontinue the committee. I believe, and I may stand corrected, that Councillor Pensavini did put that forward. And the experience the committee was having at the time was attendance and a feeling that they weren't getting runs on the board, for want of a better word. And so there was a difficulty in actually bringing the committee together. And so the recommendation that came from the committee was to dissolve it, which did make its way to council.
Thank you. Councillor Reddy?
I would like to speak in favor of the motion. What happens in history is not going to repeat. The leadership was not really inspiring for the public or for the members. I'm sure with the new leadership under Councillor Kai, we could make this committee work in a better way. Thank you. I will be supporting this motion.
Thank you, Councillor. Any other councillors? Councillor Blackmore.
Here's the question. Sorry, who was the... I just don't remember. Who was the previous leadership of this committee?
Councillor Pennsylvania.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. So my recollection was the committee was led by Councillor Pensavini, but Councillor Data also participated. So the two councillors worked with the committee closely.
Thank you. We'll move to the vote. Councillors, all those in favour? Councillors Bellardi, Kai, Reddy, Kim and Nosworthy. Those against? Councillor Blackmore. Motion is carried. We will move to 10.11. We've done every one so far. Councillor Kim, you've moved this motion. I'll second it. Councillor Kim, would you like to speak for your motion?
Through the mayor, I explain the crossing in front of the shopping center plaza. I don't know why you make crossing there. So since we have a collection and return, so many people crossing with bins. So it was really, it causes traffic jam and stuff there. But it is gone. But still, shopping center has lots of people, increasing people, and they come and go all the time. And there's very narrow distance between from buses coming, big buses coming there, and also many cars coming, there is pickup zone, so in the Strathfield station, the roundabout, people go and return this way. So many cars there, they're stopped, and people think too many cars are stuck and jammed. It may make lots of inconvenience and also danger. So many residents ask me, you can change this one as a lighting, stop and going, stop and going. So simple light, stop and going. It makes all traffic go smoothly. Otherwise, you have to wait. One person go, we have to stop it. The other person come and stop it. Continuously, people come and go. Car cannot go. It's stuck everywhere, long queue. So that's why I suggest we change this one or move position to move further down or light, simple light there.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Nosworthy?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think this sort of decision would be best put under the Strathfield Town Centre Master Plan. Obviously, there'll be other things going on in that area, so perhaps seeing what comes back from that master plan and whether or not that will affect the need for crossing and the usage of that crossing. So I think that would be better place for it than a standalone report.
Councillor Kim?
This kind of things, it doesn't cost much, I think. I don't know exact cost, but it doesn't cost much. It's simple things. We don't have to master plan when we be done it. It's maybe 10 years. It's not worth to wait until 10 years. So better to do it immediately is my idea.
Thank you. We'll move to the vote. Councillors, those in favour? Councillor Blackmore, Kim, Kai, Bellardi and Reddy. Against? Councillor Nosworthy. Carried. Carried. Councillors, will move to 10.12. Councillor Kim, you've moved this motion. I'll second it. Would you like to speak for your motion?
Russell Street.
Yes, I have an amendment to the motion if you would like me to. I might speak to that first.
Yes, I accept the amendment.
My amendment is the following, which. The amendment is the following, which replaces the motion as it stands, that council write to the Mayor and General Manager of Burwood Council and to the Burwood LTF, advising them of concerns regarding traffic congestion and pedestrian safety at the Boulevard Russell Street intersection near Strathfield Station, and encouraging them to consider a limited time / restrictions for right-turning vehicles during peak periods. Accepted, councillor?
Yeah, I accept it because I didn't know that before. Can I explain?
Councillor, you can speak to
Speak
the
for
motion.
Mayor, this one and the traffic and rush hour. Between rush hour, many cars coming to the Strathfield Station, and some people want to go a short way to the Russell Street, go to the road and stay behind the station. So cars have to stand in long queue, and they are in hurry for the matching the train time. So it's a lot of inconvenience they have it. So if they have no right turn, make no right turn, then people go through all the time to the stations, not the other way. They can go Warwick Street, there's a Warwick Street, there's light there. So they can turn right to the Warwick Street. So it doesn't cause any traffic jams. That's why I said no right.
Thank you, councillor. Councillor Blackmore?
Look, I will be supporting now that the motion has been amended, but I would like to just make the point that it's all well and good to stop one sort of street having problems, but you've got some fairly quiet residential streets, like Woodside Avenue, and there's a couple further up as well on the other side, where you do have to consider the knock-on effects, where if you block off turning into an area, Morwick Street is already very, very busy, and Russell Street is sort of like somewhere where they can get out of the main road. So we do need to be considerate of those knock-on effects and how we can't just say let's just stop it here. We've got many examples around our whole LGA where we've closed off roads and had traffic directed to 1 or 2 points, and that's where we have these bottlenecks, which are creating a lot of traffic congestion, taking a lot of commuters' time to get there.
Thank you, councillor. Any other councillors? We'll move to the vote. Those in favour? Carried unanimously. LC1? No, sorry. LC2. Councillors, we had to pull this motion out to select in option. My suggestion is that I'll move that we adopt the recommendation as option 3B, which was what was discussed at the workshop. I will move so the recommendation is that council's resolve which parking meter technology rollout option they wish to proceed with, and LC2 is that council receives the minutes of the workshop.
Sorry, Mayor Maloney. I think you're voting something wrong compared to your sheet. Councillor Reddy was trying to inform you.
Councillor, it's a point of order. That's a second one for you. Mainly because that's not what was going on, but nice try. But councillors, LT2, that council receives the minutes of the workshop and approve option 3B of the item EO2 of the minutes to finalise the implementation of parking meters. Is there a seconder? Councillor Blackmore. Does anyone wish to speak for or against the motion? Councillor Nosworthy?
I think my comments are probably noted anyway. Yeah, never mind.
Okay, no one wishing to speak, fine. We'll move to the vote. Those in favour of 3B, which is what was discussed at the council workshop. All those in favour of 3B? Councillors Kim, Kai, Bellardi and Blackmore. All those against? Councillors Reddy and Nosworthy. The motion is carried. We will move to LC5. Councillors, we have a report and which requires us to make a decision on renewing council's current city arrangements, also that we adopt a friendship city. Councillor Nosworthy, pulled it, but I think it'll have to come out anyway, so we'll just continue. I will move that we endorse the continuation of the sister city arrangement with Gapyeong in South Korea, which is point 1. For point 2, receive the information of the establishment of the friendship relationships. Point 3 is to answer that will be difficult at this time for 3A and B. So what I will do is we will vote on this separately. So we will vote on 1 and 2, which will endorse the continuation of the sister city relationship, and 2, receive the information on the establishment of a friendship city. We'll vote on that first. Councillors, those in favour?
No question accepted.
Sorry, we can debate, that's true. Would any councillors wish to speak for or against the motion?
Through Mayor. And for example, Gapyeong, we have a kind of a history between Australia and Korea. That's why we have sister city with Gapyeong. Do we have any relationship between Naman city? Any special reason, or why do we have to make a sister city with them? Any relationship?
So, councillor, what I'm suggesting in my division of the motion of the recommendation is that we accept the continuation of the relationship with Gapyeong, and we note the friendship city, and for
You want to change it now?
Councillor Blackmore, that's another point of order. Councillor Blackmore, that's another point of order. Next time you will be out. You're welcome to stand and ask a question in future. As I was saying, Councillor, the idea is to accept and move on. For the third section, which is 3A and B, my suggestion will be when we vote on it, I will amend it so that we come back to a workshop to discuss those things. The first vote will be on the acceptance of 1 and 2. Any other councillors wish to speak for or against 1 and 2? Councillor Nosworthy.
I was hoping to amend the sister city policy because that's one of the attachments to the report, the motion. Is that possible?
Through the General Manager, is this the...
It's not expressly in the, yeah.
Through you, Mr Mayor. I think you could explain to the council what amendments that you were looking to make, and then we would have to decide whether it would require exhibition or not.
It probably would.
Yeah. Okay. Is that all, councillor?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll move to the vote, councillors. All those in favour of 1 and 2? Councillors Bellardi, Blackmore, Kim and Reddy. Those against? Councillors Kai and Nosworthy. Okay, now we will, carried. Now we will vote on the third point, which is A and B, which is to bring that back to a workshop to discuss having a friendship city. Councillors, would anyone like to speak for or against the motion? Councillor Nosworthy.
Yeah, thank you, Mr Mayor. Unfortunately, Strathfield Council was once again in the media over our sister city relationship, and obviously these are friendship cities, so there is a slight distinction there, but I'm not sure the right course of action considering the ongoing issues it's caused to endorse friendship cities at this time.
Thank you, Councillor. Anyone else wishing to speak for or against the motion?
We're bringing back.
Councillor Blackmore.
Yeah, I'd like to make an amendment to that motion, if I may. That Strathfield Council not pursue any friendship cities.
I want to accept the amendment.
Okay. I'll foreshadow the...
Is there a seconder, foreshadowed? Is there a seconder for the motion which says that 3A and B will come back to a workshop? Councillor Reddy?
Just nodding.
Hand up, yep, okay, thank you, Councillor. Okay, seconded. We'll move to the vote if there are no further speakers. Those in favour of bringing section 3 back to a workshop, raise your hands. Councillors.
Just a question, sorry.
We're having the vote now,
No,
Councillor.
but it doesn't say workshop in that motion.
The minutes may not reflect what I've said, so we'll give them a moment to determine that. That the determination, of the establishment of any Friendship Cities be discussed at a future workshop of the council, and that AB. Okay, thank you, councillors. We'll move to the vote. Councillors, all those in favour of the amended motion, which is to bring this back to a workshop so we can decide to have a Friendship City, please raise your hands. Councillors Bellardi, Aye and Reddy.
This is for the Friendship City.
Councillors, we'll try one more time. Councillors, and if we have further interruptions from any councillors, we'll just note that that's causing confusion amongst those at the table. Councillors, all those in favour of accepting the amended motion, please raise your hands. Councillors Kim, Reddy, Bellardi and Kai against. Councillors Blackmore and Nosworthy carried. We will go to E2. Councillors, we have a report on this motion. I will move it. Is there a seconder? Councillor Nosworthy. Councillor Blackmore, you pulled it out. Would you like to speak to this motion? Councillors, we're discussing PE2.
I just had actually a couple of questions on this one. Just through the chair, I just wanted a response whether this strategy, is this among the mandatory provisions and guidelines that we need to follow?
Thank you, Councillor. Through the General Manager.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, it is. So the FOGOS, the Food and Green Organics collection, which has been mandated by the New South Wales Government by 2030. This takes us a long way in preparing for that.
Thank you. Any other councillors wishing to speak for or against the motion? No, we'll move to a vote. All those in favour? Councillors Bellardi, Nosworthy, Kim, Kai and Reddy. Against? Councillor Blackmore, carried. P3. Councillors, we have a report on the table. I'll move it. Is there a seconder? Councillor Reddy. Councillor Nosworthy, you pulled it out. Would you like to speak to the motion?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just recall, I think it was a while ago now, the installation when City of Sydney did it, and they put in quite large ones to block footpaths, and there was a lot of complaints. So just have electronic signage. So I have some concern over the implementation, making sure it's not visual pollution, making sure it's not getting in people's way in high traffic areas. So in that case, because of those reasons, at this point I'll be voting against it.
Thank you. Any other councillors wishing to speak for or against the motion? Any other councillors wishing to speak for or against the motion? No, we'll move to a vote. All those in favour? Councillors Bellardi, Kai, Reddy and Kim. Against? Councillors Blackmore and Nosworthy. Carried. Councillors, we'll move to EO2, the Cleaner and Greener Streets Committee. Councillors, we have a recommendation. The council receives and notes the information contained within the report. Council endorses the terms of reference for the committee, and then we now have to proactively nominate the chairperson and nominate the deputy chairperson and elect them. Councillors, does anyone wish to speak? Oh, I'll move it. Is there a seconder? Councillor Reddy.
And I would like to speak in.
Councillor Reddy.
I would like to nominate as a chair Councillor Mayor John Paul Bellardi.
Councillor. I accept. just through the chair, through the general manager, should we vote in amongst the councillors, or should we leave the vote to, unless there's a division? But hang on, is there a division required at the end if there are no further nominations?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I think in this instance, I think you would be able to use your casting vote. Just check it with governance on that. I don't believe that a division is required, but.
I don't know, is there a...
What casting vote?
Now I'm all confused, sorry.
Maybe I didn't understand the question.
No, it's okay, well, we'll move on. All right, is there another nomination, councillors, for chair? I would like to nominate Councillor Reddy to be the deputy chair. Councillors, I think this is a very exciting time to be on Strathfield Council. Councillors Blackmore and Nosworthy, point of order to you both.
Apologies, Mr. Mayor. I was just asking Councillor Nosworthy if he...
You're welcome to put your hand up and seek permission to speak, councillor, in future. I think you've been on council long enough to know that. For me, this committee is one that I'm very excited about because it's an opportunity for members of the community to engage with council in a way that proactively seeks council support in ensuring we have cleaner streets, in particular cleaning up the mess around heavy industry areas, around residential zones that are high density, to ensure that where there are gaps in the canopy of Strathfield, we have a tree planting program that is covering those gaps to ensure where vegetation is not well kept, there are eyes on the ground keeping council accountable and keeping us accountable. So this is a great opportunity for us to further empower our community through another committee that will advise council on all of those sorts of matters. And I hope there's a unanimous decision on this, Councillor Nosworthy.
Just a question that probably through the mayor to the general manager. When would we envisage this starts meeting?
Yep.
Through the mayor, the terms of reference for the committee include committee members, so community members. So we will have to advertise for those roles, which will take at least 28 days. So it's probably a few months away before the committee will actually form.
Thank you, councillors. Anyone else wishing to speak for or against the motion?
Are we going to vote for nominate the deputy chair as well?
I've nominated Councillor Reddy already. We'll move to the vote, councillors.
Am I able to nominate myself for deputy chair, Mr. Mayor?
Yeah, understood. But is the nomination of oneself possible? Just maybe through governance?
You can amend the motion.
I would suggest not. It's not.
Okay. Thank you. Councillor Blackmore.
Sorry,
Here we go.
I'll nominate, point 3, I'd like to say council nominates Councillor Nosworthy as chairperson of the Clean and Greener Streets Committee. Do you accept those amendments?
Amendment's not accepted by myself. Seconder? Not accepted. However, I think the right practice would be to vote on who would be the chair rather than as an amendment. So what we'll do is, I actually might ask through the general manager what the correct approach would be in that case. Is it okay as an amendment?
Short break.
Sure. We'll adjourn the meeting for 3 minutes. Just to work out what the correct procedure will be in approaching this.
Sorry, complicated.
Thank you, Councillor Blackmore. Yeah.
We are into different motion. You want to do that?
The time being 8:14, we reopen the meeting. The advice I've received, councillors, just to speak to this, is that this will be dealt with as a motion. Therefore, the rejected amendment can be put forward as a foreshadowed motion if other councillors. Okay, foreshadowed motion. Thank you, councillors.
Item, including the change to point 3.
Councillor Blackmore, I'm still speaking. At this stage, we don't have any foreshadowed motion or amendment as it's failed. Would anyone like to put forward a foreshadowed motion?
Yes. What I said before. We had a break.
Just please direct the...
So foreshadowed motion is the same motion and change the word Bellardi with Nosworthy.
Thank you, councillor. We'll now move to the vote, councillors. Councillors, all those in favour of the motion as it stands, please raise your hand.
Which one?
Councillors, it's the first one, not the foreshadowed motion. Councillors Bellardi, Kai, Reddy and Kim against. Councillors Nosworthy and Blackmore. The motion is carried and the foreshadowed motion falls. Thank you. Moving on. We will now move to 12.2. Okay. This has to come out. Yeah. Hang on. Sorry. Sorry, bear with me, councillors. That's right. Councillors, we will move to 12.2. I will move 12.2 as a seconder, Councillor Reddy, and I will move that council receives the minutes and adopts the recommendations except for A, item 6.2, noting that council rejects the recommendation and requests that the local traffic forum review their decision on the basis that community sentiment indicates a 90-degree angle parking would be a better outcome for that area. And B, that item 6.5, noting that council places information relating to the locations proposed on public exhibition for 28 days with a report back to the October meeting on the outcomes of the consultation with residents, homeowners and other relevant stakeholders. Councillors, anyone wish to speak for or against the proposal?
I'll just request a moment to just find item 6.5 to catch up.
Allowed, councillor. Councillors, would anyone like to speak for or against the motion? Councillor Blackmore.
Just a quick one. I'll be supporting your amendments, Mr. Mayor. But I would like to just quickly point out that the structure of the traffic committee, which is now called Local Transport Forum, has changed slightly. I would advise all councillors item 6.1 in those minutes to go back and have a. I know you all would have read through every line, but to go back and have a thorough read of the changes to those provisions. It's actually simplifying. There's a lot of stuff that can be done without a meeting, basically. So I think if councillors have a little bit of spare time, please go through, read 6.1, just to give a bit of help to councillors as to where items should go and who they need to talk to.
Thank you, councillor. I'll just also speak to echo the councillor's sentiment around 6.1. I think the outcomes of the reforms are great, particularly because of the particular emphasis on the empowering of council laws to be the final decision makers on particularly smaller matters of local traffic. For more complex matters, the formerly traffic committee, now local traffic forum, can be consulted for those more complicated or pedestrian or car related incidents, but ultimately I think it's a great outcome. What's in the report is a great outcome, particularly for the empowerment of us as a council. And much like Councillor Blackmore pointed out, I implore all of you to read into the table, I believe it was on the first page, that actually outlines exactly what is appropriate for council to deal with in this place versus what should be progressed as a recommendation or a consideration for the local transport forum. Any other councillors wishing to speak for or against the Councillor Nosworthy?
Question through you, Mr. Mayor. I probably to missed Councillor Blackmore. It's noted in item 6.5 that a decision was made in the local transport forum to reduce the number of EV chargers to 1 per location rather than 2. So I was just wondering if you could...
Sorry, repeat that, Councillor. Apologies.
So there's 11 electric vehicle charging stations.
Yes.
They were scheduled to have 2 chargers per station, and now down to 1 charger per station. So I was just wondering, maybe if you could explain that decision that was taken by the local transport forum.
I don't believe that is the case. Oh, sorry, you just... Yep.
Through you, Mr. Mayor.
Sorry.
Council is correct. It was 2 per
site.
And it was going to be about 12 metres in length, which was too long, so we reduced it.
Sorry, yes, understood. Yep.
So from 22, we've gone to 11.
Yes, that's right. Sorry, yes, understood. Sorry, I thought the councillor was referring to something else, but yes, thank you, Councillor Reddy.
Thank you, Councillor Blackmore. I haven't read it. I just had a agree with the advice of my fellow councillor. It does say, what does council need to do? There's a redelegation and replacement of delegations. So when are we doing it?
That is a good point, Councillor. I didn't believe that was meant to be dealt with at this meeting, but it can be dealt with at a future meeting, from what I understand. I'll just get a clarification through the General Manager.
So there's the delegation between transport and the staff.
Through the chair, I believe the delegation is from state government transport to council, so council itself doesn't have to do it.
It says, what do councils need to do? The new 2025 authorization and delegation instrument replace and previous delegations. So it does allow us to, if we want to make changes and redelegate the duties, we can, isn't it?
That's not how I've interpreted it.
I don't think we have that.
My understanding, just to clarify, is that that's a role for council administratively to accept the new delegation of that's been put forward by transport. If the councillor is seeking to change the council representatives on the committee, that can be done by an amendment to the motion. Is that what the councillor is seeking to do? Change the council delegation on the committee?
Yeah, because it's a new one, so the scope is, when we elected the traffic committee, it had a particular set of scope. Now the scope is changing. I'm sure there will be interest in.
I'm open to an amendment that seeks to do that. Is that what you'd like to do? The seconder?
I'll just speak quickly.
Sorry, Councillor, I'm just dealing with I'll accept that. Well, I'll put a third point in, point C. Actually, point A, if you slide the others down, which would be that item 6.1 is dealt with that item 6.1 is presented and reviewed at a workshop before the next council meeting. Thank you, councillors. We'll move to the vote on that, councillors.
Very quickly, Mr. Mayor.
No. We'll move to the vote. Councillors, all those in favour? All those in favour, councillors, unanimous. Thank you. All right. And we'll now move to a confidential item. Yes.
Exactly what I meant.
Hang on. Sorry, before we do the confidential matter, we have one other thing. We'll do the matter of urgency first, and then we will deal with the confidential matter. So, councillors, I have a matter of urgency that I wish to bring before the meeting. I move as a matter of urgency that council resolve to amend the meeting schedule for 2025 such that the date of the ordinary council meeting be rescheduled from the 23rd to the 30th of September because of a number of councillors being away at that week, which we've recently discovered. There will be an in-court meeting. And so we will move to the 30th of September. All those councillors wishing to speak for or against the motion? Is there a seconder? Sorry, Councillor Kai. Councillor Nosworthy.
Yeah, can I propose an amendment? Just starting underneath the 30th of September 2025, that council ensures wide publication of the change of date. I've had
Wide.
residents. Sorry, wide, not Y.
Sorry, say that
Wide, W-I-D-E.
Right.
In the past, when there was a slight shift, residents were unaware and wanted to view it live, attended, couldn't.
I've dealt with the same thing. I think publication of the date. Sorry.
Wide publication?
Wide publication of the change of date.
Substantial?
I'm okay with the amendment. The same feedback I received the last time there was a change as well. It's not that there is necessarily a change. I think the last example, and the councillor probably had the same situation. The last example occurred when we had changed the date almost 6 months prior, but because people are used to it being on the third Tuesday of the month, they, on that particular occasion, missed the date.
Yeah, I've spoken to the director about this. I think it's not always necessarily maybe suitably publicised what the dates are. So, yes, people just think it's the last Tuesday. It does shift slightly. So, yeah, again, kind of that publication aspect to make sure residents know when each meeting is and can attend if they want to.
Moving to the vote. All those in favour? Councillor Blackmore.
Mr. Mayor, I had a question. I just want to get a bit of clarity as to why this is a matter of urgency and who's being consulted as to who's attending the council meeting, and I've been asked whether I'm attending.
Are you attending, councillor?
I will be attending.
Okay, we'll see on the 30th.
Okay, yes, but I just think should be an answer as to why this is being treated as a matter of urgency for what's happening.
I think the matter of urgency, first thing is that as chair, I'm calling it a matter of urgency because of the nature of the reality of the date, which is that a number of people will be away. I'll be away on the 23rd. We also potentially could be even worse than in court if there's such a thing, because we also have a councillor who's potentially still going to be in hospital at the time. So for the sake of ensuring that the council is court, we're moving the date by 1 week. Councillors will move to the vote. All those in favour? Councillors Bellardi, Kai, Reddy and Kim against. Councillors Nosworthy and Blackmore carried. Okay, we'll now move to the confidential matter. Agenda marked as a confidential matter that calls for it to be considered in closed session. EO3.
He's still got to read this bit.
Okay. Go in. EO3 license negotiation process and strategy. In accordance with section 10A2C DII of the Local Government Act 93 and Council's Code of Meeting Practice, I invite members of the public to make representations as to whether or not this part of the meeting should be closed to the public to consider the confidential items. There being no representations, I move the council closes the meeting to the public for the reasons outlined in the reports. Is there a seconder? Councillor Nosworthy. Councillors, we have to vote on this to now close the meeting. Oh, sorry, not to close the meeting, to go into closed session. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Thank you, councillors. unanimously. The resolution carried in the session was resolution for item EO3, license negotiation process and strategy. Conclusion of meeting, there being no further business, I declare the meeting closed. The time being 8:40.